You got two matchups coming with Kennesaw State first and then Jacksonville State. Go ahead, give us your overall thoughts on this upcoming road trip.
Yeah, I think you're in February and every game's important, and these two matchups this week are going to be two matchups where they've got kind of varying styles in terms of Kennesaw. You've got two really good scorers. Princess Hardin's been the top of the league in scoring for a majority of the season. They've got dynamic athletes that are going to really get after it. You've got to block them out. You've got to keep them out of the paint. They like to ISO and play against some matchups that are favorable to them, and I think we've got to do a great job from a team defensive aspect. And then Jacksonville State, I think they're really solid in terms of their depth and their ability. Like, they don't have one scorer that's averaging, double figures. They've got a lot of people that are really solid, and their balance is really good. So they shoot the three a lot. Obviously, they had 15 on us here in Ruston, and we've got to do a better job of keeping them out of transition, not allowing dribble penetration that allowed for some kick open threes and things like that. So I wasn't pleased with our defensive effort that week in either of those games. I thought we scored it well. We were 80 and 83, I think, both games, but we have to defend better. And especially when you go on the road, you've got to defend, you got to rebound, you got to take care of the basketball. And I think that's our focus this week, of making sure what you did last week, and especially in critical times, that you carry that over to the road this week.
Both matchups, it seemed like Avery was able to find some matchups that she liked. Do you feel like going on the road that can kind of continue to get her some looks?
Yeah, I think we've got to attack the paint, and I think we've got to do a great job of getting paint touches, whether it be off the pass or off the dribble. And a lot of it is, will they make adjustments in how they guarded ball screens the first go around, or will they stick to who they are? I feel like there's some areas that we can obviously improve, but I think that we've got to play through the paint, no doubt.
When you think about the turnover piece, I know at times when we've talked about playing fast and wanting to kind of be unselfish, like, is there times where maybe just let them kind of just slow it down and just feel out the game a little bit more and say, hey, if you need to hold the ball just a little bit longer, just kind of set things up? Like, is that kind of part of the messaging? Or
We've talked about that. We've talked about a lot of it. We've shown a lot of it. It's really crazy because we had one turnover the first quarter Saturday and didn't have another one until the 4-minute mark of the second quarter, and then we get 8. And it's like they happen in these strings and or these stretches, and we've called timeouts. And then it's almost like it's contagious. And it's not. I know it's not that they're just being careless. I think they really want to try to make an extra pass or and we're just like, okay. And some of it is, you don't have to make the home run play. Like, let's just get the single. Let's just make the open, easy pass, the simple play, the hockey assist, the assist to the assist. And I think that their heart's in the right spot. I don't question that whatsoever. It's just slow down, concentrate, understand the value of possession, and we've stressed it ad nauseum. Hopefully that's going to kick in here. But I thought first quarter and fourth quarter we had one in the fourth, and I thought that was huge on Saturday against a team that turns you over a lot. And I thought we handled their physicality. I thought we handled that really well when it mattered the most.
I was going to say, to that point, like, I know we talked so much about what Paris does scoring-wise, but it seems like playing her and G on the same time, like giving the ball to either of them on a single possession, like it opens up so many opportunities.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen from the beginning and some of it too is matchups and how they're guarding certain actions and what they do. G's been shooting the 3 really well, and sometimes when we have her at the 1, she doesn't get those looks as much, and so moving her to the 2 and allowing, and especially against the zone. We saw a lot of zone on Saturday, and I thought we got some really good looks. They didn't go down. But I thought we settled for some threes probably where when they weren't going down, we just needed to get it to the short corner of the baseline, and we finally did and let Jordan and Avery really attack that area. But I think that combination, they feed off of each other really well. It gives you 2 point guards out there that can pass, that can think. They both do a really good job of pushing in transition and tempo, putting pressure on a defense. And I think it opens up things for everybody else too. Plus, they attack, flatten out a defense. You kick it out to Robin, and you're playing Robin Lee in a closeout. That's a pretty good option for us. And then you've got Avery and Isla and Jordan and Mel and Taylor in there to clean things up and to find open space where you've got to guard them as well.
What have you seen from Isla the past couple games here? It feels like kind of production-wise maybe it dipped a little bit than what we saw at the beginning of conference play, but defensively it seems like she's made some impact.
Yeah, she has, and I think that we don't want. I mean, we talked about Nadabu shooting 71% last week. Isla's 61% in conference play. She just doesn't get a lot of attempts, and we've tried to get her to be more aggressive. Sometimes I think we're missing her a good bit of when she is posting up. I mean, she makes a really nice. I think it was maybe first or second score of the game. Paris gets out in transition. She runs the floor hard. Paris drives middle, drops one off. She takes one dribble to the middle and then turns around with a nice little baby hook off the glass. And from about 5 feet, that's a difficult shot, and it's contested. And, she has the ability to do that. We need her to maybe be a little more selfish offensively. I thought she was really solid against Jacksonville State of offensive rebound putbacks. And just keeping the ball high. She had a couple of critical offensive rebounds when I think we were down 4, maybe third, fourth quarter, and she gets those and kind of gets us a spark going there when we maybe were a little stagnant offensively. So she's making an impact. I think, too, you get to this point in the season where we're playing so many freshmen. This is the longest. A lot of their high school seasons are usually winding down. They're hitting the playoffs. This is kind of coming to an end. This is where we ramp up. And we've talked to them about that. We've tried to emphasize certain things with them. And, I think it just hits certain people at certain times of the year. And you provide support and you provide encouragement and you continue to challenge them. But you just help them through it. But I think she's got to look to be more aggressive offensively. But she's definitely impacting us on the defensive end, too.
Anything?
When you look at this road trip at Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State, obviously 2 teams below you in the standings. Do y'all talk about that at all as far as the opportunity that you have to kind of go on a run a little bit here and possibly get to 4 in a row?
Absolutely. We show standings every Monday. I want them to be, they look at it. It's not like they're unaware. Some coaches, and maybe in the past I wouldn't show that all the time, but I want them to know where we are. I want them to know what the expectation is, what the standard is, what we need to do in order to compete for a championship. And we're trying to, we've still got a chance to make a move. And I think this group knows that they can do it. I think last week was big. We've all talked about it, and we've even heard other coaches in the league talk about it. That team's going to be tough when they get to, end of February and March. They're going to be a tough out. And we're like, you can hear those things, but until you do it, until you beat a Liberty, until you get in a situation where you're down 10 with 10 to go and you got to find a way to dig yourself out of it, and you do it against the team that was, tied for first or in first in the league, it's just talk. And so now I think that they've had that experience. They've proven that. They know that, hey, we're good enough to beat anyone in the league. We're also, when we don't compete well, we're not good enough to beat anybody in the league. And I think there's parity in this league with that, but and that can be said for a lot of teams. But I think the realization of where we are, and I don't think it's a pressure thing. They don't look at it that way, and we don't portray it as that. We just say, hey, this is the situation, this is where we are. I think we as humans tend to, when we know what the expectation is, we know what the standard is, then have the freedom to compete and just not worry about those things. We know what we have to do, and now it's a matter of just going out and doing it. And I think this group has responded well. They didn't like how they felt after Sam Houston. None of us did. And that's not to take away anything from Sam Houston. That was, we didn't feel like we played the way we're capable of playing. We didn't feel like we competed the way that we're capable of competing, and that was probably the most disappointing thing. Not the score or not the missed shots, not even the turnovers. It was, we didn't get down in a stance and guard, and we didn't get down and block out and get rebounds when we needed them, and to maintain that lead in the fourth. And I thought they came back Monday with a renewed sense of focus and purpose in practice. Monday and Tuesday, last week was a hard week. We were a little more active, I guess you would say, in practice on Monday and Tuesday. Not that we don't go hard, but I think we got after them Monday and Tuesday, and I thought that their play was reflective in that. You have a possession against Liberty where Avery comes in the game, and usually we're trying to stress to them, you're not going to impact the game offensively, like always. You can always impact it defensively. She dives on the floor, then Sydney follows it up with a dive, then Avery gets up off the floor and dives on it again. I thought that set the tone, and I thought that's how we competed. And if this group will do that, and especially on the road, that's what we got to take with us on the road, then you'll give yourself a chance to win. Now we got to take care of the basketball and handle those things. But if they have that mentality, they're a fun group to be around. They may be young and they may be unaware of some things, and sometimes that unawareness is good because they don't recognize the magnitude of it. But they are so fun to be around because they compete really hard together, and you can see their passion on the floor together. And this is where I'm gonna just say people need to show up next week and watch this group and pull for this group, because it's a shame that there aren't more people out there in the stands watching this group compete, because they're competing their tails off for each other and they're a lot of fun to watch.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Coach.
Thanks,
Appreciate
BC.
it, Coach.